Well, it has been an extremely disappointing couple of weeks for both of our host national teams and in the FA Cup, but hey, this show must go on. What's up, everyone? It's Dave and Diego here for you live from Newburgh Brewing Company for A Soccer Fan Walks Into a Bar. We'll take a look at what happened last week and get back to all of the league matchups for this week, so stick around. Well, welcome back, Diego. Happy April. How you been?
What is there to be happy about, man? It was a tough past couple of weeks, but at least the weather is coming back. So
you say that. I'm in a winter hat. I'm freezing.
yeah, me too.
My allergies are kicking my butt.
Well, that's part of the process, man. You know, April. What is it? April showers.
Yeah, I don't know, man. I want to be on a beach.
Well, yeah, I want to be anywhere except watching our teams play, man.
It's been a rough
Jesus
couple weeks.
Christ.
That being said, also apologies if you're watching this on YouTube and looking in the background. We have literally a blank slate behind us. We're going through some renovations here. If you hear any noise, we have a studio photographer in-house doing some stuff right now. We're canning downstairs, so lots of stuff going on to distract us from our disappointment of the week. So
yes.
On that, let's jump right into the weekly FA Cup action that we had last week. We were in the round of 16. The first match on the weekend, Fulham 0, Crystal Palace 3, an absolute drubbing for a team that a lot of people thought would do quite well in this round. And Crystal Palace really seems to be, kind of waking up under Oliver Glasner. They've been playing lights out the last few months. So they look, obviously, FA Cup aside, they look to be ascending a little bit in the table. And that brings us to our next match on the weekend with the FA Cup was Brighton and Forest, two, should we say, surprising heavyweights?
Absolutely.
Not normally this far into the competition, not normally this high up the table. It ended scoreless after regulation and extra time. And Nottingham Forest did take the victory 4-3 via penalties.
It was horrible.
It was horrible in the sense that it was, obviously we have the Brighton Supporters Club here, Seagulls on Hudson. So it was disappointing for them. They had a great crowd. We had some people coming from all over the state to come watch the match.
Yeah, by the way, shout out to all of you guys. Thank you for coming.
Kingston, Pennsylvania, New Jersey, all of you coming for the Brighton matches. We appreciate it. But yeah, so it was, I think overall it's been a great run for Brighton. The cup seems to have kind of, as they were languishing a little bit in the table, seems to have put them back up into that realm where they feel they belong.
Yes, getting back, back to a new spirit.
Right, threatening for the European spots. So, realistically, only one team can win the cup every year.
Yeah.
So if you can use that, get a good cup run, bring some money into it with the advancement into the later rounds, and also have that propel you and be a springboard into your league play, then it's very effective. Because we've seen it on both ends where a cup run, that goes sour just kills it for a team in the league.
And I mean, in the way this one went sour, let's say they have a great run, they have playing really good soccer, but when it came to the penalties, they were extremely disappointing.
Yeah, I mean,
extremely.
To me, I mean, both teams were completely out of gas by about the 75th, 80th minute. It was, as a neutral, it was incredible to watch because there was no midfield play. It was just back and forth. It was awesome. You literally saw every player giving it everything they had. And we say this a lot about, because we're in that era right now on the calendar, March Madness. You see a lot of these Cinderellas that, for lack of a better word, not to be insulting, but they're like too young and dumb to realize the gravity of the match.
What's happening right now. Yeah, absolutely.
So to see these squads just lay it out there and have fun with it was a welcome breath of fresh air for fans of the FA Cup and fans of the game in general.
It was absolutely. And kudos to Nottingham Forest. They played a great overtime strategy.
Yeah.
They gave the ball up. They were like, we're going to hold it.
I think they knew that they had nothing left in the tank and they needed to hope for penalties. And
I think that's what played well.
And Nuno's game plan worked and they won on penalties. So.
Yes. But again, you cannot try that Panenka in the middle of an important freaking to the body of the goalie. That's just ridiculous, man. Somebody's got to tell these kids. like you said, to understand the gravity of what the hell they're doing
yeah,
right
yeah.
now. Jesus.
All right, moving into Sunday, Preston North End, the surprise championship squad left in the cup, went nil. Yeah, nil. You don't say it that way. They lost 3-0. Sorry, you don't start with nil. I feel weird saying 3-0 to Aston Villa, who I mean is in line for potentially 2 cup titles with them still being in Champions League as well.
Yep.
So, kudos to Aston Villa. I mean, it was proverbial men amongst boys.
Yeah.
But Preston North End has made it this far, so the surprises are still there. You never know.
You got to give it to them. They're going to have a great year. This was great emotionally, and I bet you economically for the team. You know, I mean,
they must
have made tons and tons of money of this.
They are going to use this hopefully to their advantage.
Yeah, absolutely.
And then into the final match on Sunday, 2 of our supporters clubs, Bournemouth hosting the big Man City. Bournemouth without Milos Kerkez, without Dean Huijsen. There was a lot of worry with this match between injuries, between suspensions. Can we compete with the juggernaut that is Man City?
Yeah.
An early Evan Nielsen goal, still continuing to recover
Gave us
from
hope,
injury, and
but he did it. Yeah,
back and looking good. And that was about it. They went into half looking pretty good. Towards the tail end of the first half, you could kind of see the ebbs and flows of the match. Man City did start to assert their dominance. And in the second half, I don't know if it's a product of Iraola for once getting it wrong in halftime adjustment.
I think he did, though.
Or Pep Guardiola getting it right, or kind of a combination of both.
Yeah.
But Man City just came out lighting it up in the second half. It was a totally different team on both sides, for Bournemouth and for Man City. And, in the grand scheme of things, the better team did win the match.
No, 100%.
2-1 to Man City, goals from Erling Haaland after he had a penalty saved in the first half by Kepa, and substitute Omar Mamouche scored in the 63rd minute, which was the eventual match winner.
Yeah.
So our quarterfinals will feature Crystal Palace, Nottingham Forest, Aston Villa, and Manchester City. And as I'm looking at this, I just realized all 4 home teams lost their round of 16 matches.
So this was an away sweeper.
It was a very interesting statistic. Obviously, you can make these up as well as you want, and however you want to spin something, you can find a stat to do it. But that's an interesting little nugget there, that all 4 home teams were on the losing end of those matches.
Well, yeah, because you were supposed to hold your home. You know what I mean? Like, that is the advantage of getting to this position and playing the way you're playing. But and again, like, you piggybacking again, I don't want to leave Bournemouth right now, because the substitutions what killed the game.
Yeah.
The team was playing really well. And then you bring a whole new set of people that, just took a little bit of time to get used to the pace of the pitch. And that was the difference.
And this is not a shot at Man City for the money they spend. But I mean, it's clear they have a different budget than Bournemouth does.
And once you take the starters out,
once you get past that starting 11, maybe into 14, 15 guys, combined with the injuries and suspensions that Bournemouth have had, it pales in comparison to the quality of players that Man City. I mean, you bring Jack Grealish on as a substitute.
As a sub, exactly.
Whether you agree with the fee they paid or whether he's earned it or not, you bring on $100 million player.
He better deliver.
He's going to be better than the substitutes that Bournemouth can muster up. So, all that being said, the semifinals are set for the weekend of April 26th. Nottingham Forest hosting Man City and Crystal Palace hosting Aston Villa. What do you think? What do you?
To be honest, I think Nottingham Forest has what it takes to beat Man City.
That would be an incredible feat. I think we have made a lot of the quote unquote demise of Manchester City. They're still top 4 team. They're in a cup semifinal.
Yeah.
It's not.
It kind of feels like we're hating.
It might be one of the worst seasons they've had in recent history, but.
Still a great season.
By most metrics, it's still a great season. So I think after this, like, it's been interesting to see now Man City is able to, the players at least, are able to pull on like a
been there, done that
No,
situation?
the opposite. Like
Really?
an underdog story. Like everyone.
Oh, that's what
Everyone
you
took it
mean.
for
Yeah,
granted.
yeah, yeah.
Everyone, knocked us out of every competition. Worst team, they've ever had. The financial charges are coming. All this court stuff.
You're right.
You're
You're
gonna
right.
get, you're gonna get kicked out of the Premier League. So they are.
They're keeping the receipts,
Yeah,
as they say.
yeah. So I think this is great. This has been great bulletin board material
You are
for
right.
the players.
Yeah.
And outside of now Bournemouth being in it, a Man City Cup run here and winning a trophy would be.
I mean, that'll help us out a lot, though.
Of course, but it would be incredible for these guys that have been dogged by all these stories.
Yeah, but you can't forget that these people that like we're talking about, they're underdogs right now.
Yeah,
have been there compared to all the other three teams that are playing right now. They have been there the most. I mean, Aston Villa could give them a run for their money and everything.
They're currently still in Europe. They were in Europe. Was that last year as well? I think.
Yeah.
So I think Forest City is the toss up. As well as Crystal Palace has been playing, I think Villa takes that one.
Yeah, I think so.
We'll see.
And that's the thing. Nottingham Forest has definitely known how to play against the big teams. Yeah. You know what I mean? They don't overreach.
They just beat United yesterday, right?
Yeah, I'm pretty sure. And it was a good victory too. Yeah. It wasn't like they were just struggling. They just managed the team.
A 1-0 victory, an early goal from former Man United player Anthony Elanga.
And they managed the team for the rest of the game. I actually got to watch it.
31% possession.
Yep.
Forest was the better team, and they won.
Yeah. And I think that's exactly what they're gonna do against Man City. They're gonna try to get ahead early, and if they do get ahead early, watch out because they're gonna fall back. And they have played an incredible defensive games in the past few times that they've been out on the pitch. So that's the one I think, like you said, is going to be a toss-up, and it all depends on Pep. What is he going to do? How is he going to encourage his team? Because he seemed to do a good job in the last game, and that's what's going to come down to this one. They're gonna get scored on in the first half. How you come back?
Right.
What is your response to that?
Well, I'm sure as the weeks go by, we will have plenty more for that in action, some predictions as we get to the week leading up. But that will do it for the week abroad, guys. We'll be right back after a 30-second break with 100 Miles to Home. Cheers. All right, welcome back to A Soccer Fan Walks Into a Bar. I'm Dave. We have Diego here beside me.
Cheers.
We are here with 100 Miles to Home. We'll talk a little bit of MLS action on our abbreviated 100 Miles to Home week here. So we'll kick off with Saturday night's match. Actually, I believe it was Saturday afternoon, now that I think about it.
Yep, it was earlier.
Red Bulls visiting New England Revolution. A 2-1 victory for the Revs behind goals from Carles Gil, a 28th minute goal. Followed up by an Eric Maxim Choupo-Moting goal in the 45th +2.
Yeah, so that was exciting though. Actually,
they went into half tied, and then a 97th minute penalty from Gil again to give the Revs the spoils. Fairly even match, and it seems to be kind of much of the same for the Red Bulls, just kind of back and forth. They currently sit in 9th place in the East. Obviously, it's still early, only 6 matches played, but 2 wins, 2 draws, 2 losses, a goal differential of only 1. So, everything kind of just even
now,
just get through the first part of the season. They had some new additions to the squad, including why can't I think of his name now? Choupo-Moting from Europe. So I think it's just kind of get everyone on the same page, tread water, and
it was funny because for some reason we literally just watched soccer at Neighbor Brewing Company on the Saturday. We watched pretty much all the matches of that day.
FA Cup, we had MLS,
and not only
there was an NWSL match.
Exactly. Yeah. So we just left the TV on the channel that was showing soccer, and we got to watch all of the games. And for the first time, I got to watch pretty much all the teams play.
Yeah, while working.
And while working, exactly,
clock,
which is a
still
beautiful
having
thing,
fun.
baby. But it showed me something. Like you said, the season is just starting. A lot of those teams are finding themselves.
Right.
You know what I mean? They are playing their brand of soccer and everything, but there is just this little thing that needs to be changed here, this other thing that needs to be changed there. And, you know, from what I saw, the Red Bulls are actually doing very good when it comes to that. They have a defined identity. Yes, they lost this game, but they were just playing their game. I mean, it just didn't have. It just so happened that it didn't work out.
I
but
mean,
they did well.
We'll certainly cover the other side of the Hudson River as well shortly. But I do think of the two local squads, Red Bulls have definitely the highest ceiling.
Yes, absolutely.
You know, they have some proven veterans in Emil Forsberg, in Choupo-Moting that really can elevate them to the next level.
You're absolutely right.
I mean, again, NYCFC could be there, but with these young, unproven talents, that remains to be seen, and it certainly can't be relied on.
No, not yet. And that's literally what happened. Like you said, we're going to talk about City in a couple of seconds, but that's literally what happened with them. They have an incredible firepower potential, but the mistakes is what kills them. Those little random moments in the game when somebody just kind of like loses focus, boom, that's it.
So speaking of NYCFC, they visited Atlanta United. They were up early, a Hannes Wolf goal in the 15th minute, then evened out by Moranchuk in the 42nd. And then in quick succession, an Alonso Martinez 48th minute penalty, Hannes Wolf, his second of the game in the 51st, 3-1 lead. Everything looked good, but they were confident. A Keaton Park's own goal on a service where he was just trying to get back after tracking probably a 35, 40-yard run. Unfortunate, but that kind of stuff does happen. And then it really fell apart. An Almiron goal in the 75th, followed with a Latte-Lat goal in the 84th on a terrible miscommunication.
And those are the things we talk about.
Yeah, it was between Thiago Martins and Matt Fries. And Thiago Martins was absolutely livid. You're a goalkeeper, or you were a goalkeeper. I was a goalkeeper. For me, that is 100% on Thiago Martins as a defender.
Yes.
You running back.
It's your ball.
You cannot be telling the goalie to come get it.
No. You go.
He gets it. If not, that's yours.
That's the thing. That's absolutely true. The goalie is the one that makes, and those are the miscommunications. Those are the little things that I was talking about.
And keep in mind, this is a DP center back.
Yeah.
So he is one of, if not the highest paid player and the captain of this squad.
So you can't do that.
For him to be reacting like that.
No, absolutely.
It was, I'm sure that it was all blown over and they talked about it in the locker room and it's all good now, but that is a terrible look for the squad and for your captain.
100%. I mean, that was just ridiculous. Like you can, and you kind of like sold your goalie out because he didn't even accept the responsibility in the moment. Like you see that the goalie's telling him
fired up in the game.
Yeah,
but,
absolutely.
You know, you gotta put a cap on it. You gotta save that for the locker room. That's not for public consumption.
Exactly. That was the thing. And that's where the city's failing at this moment. It's just finding that cohesiveness as a team and the communication. And like you said, the experience. I mean, it's all about it. It's all a matter of experience. You know, you're in a tight match. Now you're all of a sudden, you got combat on, you're 3-3. And you're giving up stuff like that. It's unbelievable.
Yeah. So as it sits, again, we're early in the season. Red Bulls sit 9th in the table on 8 points after 6 matches played, as do NYCFC. 8 points on 6 played. So both squads, 2 wins, 2 draws, 2 losses. NYCFC has an even goal differential, 9 goals for, 9 against. Red Bulls have +1 at 7 goals for, 6 against. So, you know, it's very tight, and as quote unquote poorly as they're playing, they're only 5 points out of first place.
Because that's how the whole league is playing. Like nobody's kind of dominated other than Miami.
Yeah,
of course, Miami.
I mean, and I will say Miami's in first on 13 points with a game played less than all these other squads.
Yeah, so other than Miami, everybody's just finding themselves.
They are also competing in the CONCACAF Champions Cup. You know, they'll be in Leagues Cup, they'll be in U.S. Open. You know, so these matches, yes, we say, okay, they have extra games in hand. Those will surely be points.
Yeah.
You know, the match congestion is going to be a thing. When you have an aging squad like Messi, like Suarez, like Busquets, like Jordi Alba.
How much are you going to put him in there?
How much time can these guys handle?
Yeah.
Or will they break down? So, and not for anything. I mean, I loved him as a player. by many accounts, he did incredibly well with the U20s of Argentina. But Javier Mascherano is not a proven manager.
No,
So,
absolutely not.
you know,
He's not.
it's as an NYCFC fan and a New York local. You know, I'm not rooting for Miami, but I like Mascherano. I think he'll do a great job, and I want to see him do well.
And he's got the player connection.
Yeah,
that's the thing, man. Like we talk about it.
That's another thing that we did talk about. Like, yeah, when it's good, it's great. When the chips start to crumble a little bit, and Suarez and Busquets and Messi are getting in Mascherano's ear.
Yes,
is it player to coach? Is it
this is Messi's team, bro?
Of course, but where's the line there? I know nothing about all their personal relationships, but is Jordi Alba now the fifth wheel? Is he the one that nobody talks? You know what I mean? Like, how do these dynamics work? Is it Sergio? Does he not care and just kind of let them
play? You guys do you?
You know what I mean? So, it kind of reminds me of like almost like a wrestling drama, like all these backstories, and these guys are friends, but they're not friends, and we all work together, and the powder keg is ready for something good or bad.
Hey, I mean, that makes for good television.
Sure
I mean,
does.
And it's not the first time in American sports that stuff like that happens. You got in basketball, you got LeBron James and his buddy, his podcast partner as a coach. Like that's just crazy nonsense, and it only happens here in America. Why? Television, man. All that sells, all that drama sells.
The Apple TV deal is really hitting the numbers right now.
So, indeed, sir.
That'll do it for us with 100 miles to home. Let's take a look at what's on tap. So we have a chock full week of only Premier League action. Generally speaking, when there's an international break, they try to play a little bit of catch up. So you combine that and the FA Cup on the weekend. So there is a double match week this week, and obviously it started yesterday with Man United's loss to Nottingham Forest. We're going three wide today.
Yes, indeed.
All three supporters clubs in action all at the same time. So Wednesday, April 2nd at 2:45 p.m. we have Bournemouth hosting Ipswich, Brighton and Hove Albion hosting Aston Villa, and the Hudson Valley Citizens and Manchester City hosting Leicester City. So we'll find TVs wherever we need to go. Yep. We got split screen on the big screen and a TV up there. So we will be your destination for midweek Premier League action.
Absolutely.
Tomorrow, an interesting little matchup. Thursday the 3rd, 2:45 p.m. Chelsea and Tottenham. So
it's a big one.
Yeah, this is a match where, and honestly, it's got
big implications actually.
And if you listen to the rumors, it might have some implications for Bournemouth as well, because although he claims to be quite happy on the South Coast, there are a lot of rumors surrounding Andoni Iraola and a potential opening at Tottenham if Ange is fired. He allegedly is their top target. Now, again, he is on record as saying he's very happy at Bournemouth. He wants to be a part of the project.
I mean, it's something that he's really worked hard on.
I did hear both from news stories and from some personal friends that owner Bill Foley had feet on the ground in Bournemouth, specifically to negotiate with Iraola. So, I'm hoping
that's something that cannot happen. I'm not even going to try to argue the positive on that one, because we're here for Bournemouth.
All that being said, I am extremely confident if Iraola decides to leave. It'll be on good terms, and I wish him the best of luck. But I am sure that Bournemouth already has a short list of 5, 6, 7 managers to fit that mold and to take the project even further.
It's not time yet. They can. They gotta try to do that. Yeah. But, I mean, business are businesses. You gotta have somebody.
This is a contingency plan that I'm sure
is in place now.
Entertainment and Bournemouth and Black Knight Football Group all have in mind. So
yeah. I mean, but again, they cannot be too quick on going into that contingency plan. They gotta try to exhaust every avenue.
I think
for them to get and keep.
I mean, again, I'm not Bill Foley, but if it were up to me, just give Iraola
whatever you want.
Checkbook.
Yep. Just sign put a number in there.
Yeah, put a number in.
That's true, because it's a process that is been working out so well. Yeah. Like he's bringing him to a whole new level that another coach is not ready to sustain with the program that he's doing.
And even obviously the last few weeks have not been great for Bournemouth. Let's be completely honest about that.
Nonetheless.
But despite that, or because of that, they still are
Competing.
playing for him. You know, he has this kind of je ne sais quoi about him that, like, you know, people gravitate toward him.
Yep. And buys into his things,
and
whatever he wants.
One other thing, I can't remember who I was talking to about this, but if he were to go to Tottenham, you know, he plays a very specific style of football that is high energy, high pressing from everyone, 1 to 11 on the field.
Oh, absolutely.
Some of those stars at Tottenham, I don't think they're buying into
them. No. Maybe Song or something like that. Yeah.
Obviously, Dom Solanke is there. So
he's been there before, yeah. But everybody...
I'm not so sure that you get the buy-in from all these players.
No.
These guys that are, you know, one, used to Ange, but two, used to again, I'm saying this in quotes.
A little more passive style
of game. I would say a higher level of learning, because obviously Tottenham is below Bournemouth on the table. But, you know, they want the ball at their feet. They want to play the beautiful game.
Yep.
You know, and it obviously we look at it through a Bournemouth lens, but it's not the beautiful game that
we
Brazil
play.
Like the 90s plays.
Absolutely.
It's different. It's more of almost like a Klopp-like Liverpool heavy metal.
Absolutely. Yeah. Actually, they move the ball, but they are always trying to be explosive at the end of the game. Yeah,
exactly. So that'll be interesting dynamic to continue to follow throughout the season. But Chelsea sits in the top spot of the also rans, as we're looking at it, in fourth place. So you have Liverpool on 70, Arsenal on 61, Nottingham Forest on 57, and then the drop off to Chelsea in fourth on 49. So following Chelsea, you have City on 48, Newcastle 47, Brighton 47, Fulham and Villa both on 45, and Bournemouth on 44. So a 5-point gap rather, from 4th to 10th.
Yeah.
Everything to play for with all of these squads. So Chelsea needs this in a London derby here. So
they need to come ahead 100%.
Superbly interesting match to watch. Then we roll into the weekend. Crystal Palace hosting Brighton at 10 a.m. on Saturday the 5th, alongside West Ham hosting Bournemouth. So again, you know, this is Brighton and Bournemouth, both with aspirations to get into Europe.
Yeah.
Facing teams that are beyond that. So they are, you know, relatively, I would say they're all safe from relegation, but they're not moving up into European play. I mean, Crystal Palace maybe has a shot for it, but I highly doubt it. So it'll be both those teams visiting also rans. And can they put the points on the board?
They should.
I agree they should. Brighton has been lately, but Bournemouth of late has not. So it remains to be seen what will become of Bournemouth down the stretch run here. Can they muster up what it takes to get into Europe?
Especially against West Ham, the past few matches hasn't been too favorable against them. So, you know, it's going to be a tough ask, but this is the moment.
And then the big one on the weekend, the last match of the weekend, Stein Sunday for us here, April 6th, 11:30 a.m. We have a Manchester derby.
Yeah.
This one will be hosted at Old Trafford, where fifth place, Man City go to travel to 13th place, Manchester United. Can you believe it?
Nope. It's incredible.
That being said, when these two squads get together, you throw the table out the window.
Absolutely. That's what I was going to say. This is not a matter of position, and this is a matter of pride. This is a rivalry, as you know, clearly stated. So there is no pre or post game here. There is no what we have been done in the season. This is the moment where you got to focus on that one team and that one team only. Nothing else matters. We're going to win.
So we say all this.
Yeah.
I know your daughter's a United fan, so you have some allegiance to United.
Yep.
Can United win this? No.
No, they can't. I mean, again, this is a brand new match. This is an independent match. This doesn't count on how you've been playing. It all depends on how the coach sells this specific moment to his team. You know what I mean? It's going to be, yes, you can, yes, you will, and yes, you must. It's not going to be, we're going to try to improve, or we're improving in the table, or this is to save our season. No, this is just one match that we must win no matter what. And if that gets through the players, they might have a chance. Otherwise, they're done.
Yeah, I kind of agree with you on that last part. Yeah, it's gonna be. I mean, it'll be a fun one to watch for sure. I think, like we said, I think Man City is now kind of taking this chip on their shoulder to heart, and you know what, good for them. I remember we talked about this back in the fall. How does a team that has been so successful for so long stay motivated?
Yeah,
and it's things like this. Things like you look back to whether you liked them or hated them, the old Patriots teams under Belichick. Like,
yeah, they will
you find something to keep eating at you
and they always
keep
make the
going on.
playoffs. That was the only thing. That's the philosophy with big teams like that. You get to the top stages of whatever you're doing, and you're gonna have a big chance. You're gonna be all right. You know what I mean? And that's what's happening. Manchester's in the semifinals of the FA.
Yep.
They didn't make the champions, but it is what it is. They were there. So this is just a year where they're gonna balance out the books with the FA Cup championship.
Yeah,
I think that's what they're betting on. A good placing in the cup, in the regular tournament. Championship here is gonna kind of like balance out the year for them to get ready for the next. I mean, that's all they have right now, and that's what they're gonna do.
All right, well, that will do it for what's on tap. We have actually 2 for the road. I just had another one that popped in my head. So
there you go. No, let's do yours.
Well, why don't we do this one?
The León, yeah, come on, man.
Club León has been removed from the Club World Cup. And obviously a lot of the articles that we saw were very clickbaity, as is the world we're in now.
Yep.
So for those of you that don't know, Club León is owned by Grupo Pachuca.
And Pachuca
is also in the Club World Cup. So this was, it may not have kind of made mainstream soccer news, for a while, but this was kind of something that was an ongoing court case and being arbitrated.
Yes.
For a while. So it has been decided that because their ownership groups are so closely intertwined, that only one squad from the same ownership group can enter, and that will be Pachuca. So with FIFA axing Club León from the tournament, there are several kind of possibilities or options on who will fill that gap.
LA.
Well, so in the most FIFA thing possible, they are looking at maybe having a 1-match playoff in California between LAFC and Club America. And again, like we've said for years, just follow the money.
How can we make money
how can we make money on our own mistake?
Yeah.
Why don't we make a 1-match playoff and put it all on that?
Sell 50,000 tickets real quick.
Sell the TV rights for it. Absolutely incredible, but not at all surprising. So
no, absolutely not. I mean, I am a little upset about it because I get it. Pachuca has a history.
Yep.
Yes, León has my boy. And that's
for those who really don't know, James Rodriguez, the Colombian, is a player for Club León.
Yeah, and he's playing extremely well. And the thing is, León is on the top of the league right now. Pachuca is not doing well. Like, just strictly speaking, soccer. Strictly talking, positioning, level of play that you're doing right now, León is way ahead of Pachuca right now. So Pachuca is just going to go and embarrass themselves over there, to be 100% honest with you.
We'll see.
No, I'm sure.
All right. And
Los Cementeros don't got it right now.
Our second one for the road, Thursday, April 24th, right upstairs in Newburgh Brewing's tap room, there will be a regional Bino tournament hosted.
Yep.
Free to enter. Like I said, April 24th at 6 p.m. Flick off. I guess.
Flick off. Yeah,
you don't say
flick
kickoff. It's flick off. So free to enter. There will be prizes for the top 3 finishers. There will be a pre-registration, and then a
little tutorial just in case.
Registration, and then a video of how to play. So newcomers obviously are 100% welcome as our seasoned vets.
Yep.
Diego and I will be kind of quasi refereeing the
tournament as it goes. Yeah.
And I think, I mean, Diego and I have gotten to play Bino now the last couple months, and it's a blast.
Yeah, it's a lot of fun.
It's a very good kind of time suck. You think you're going to play for a couple minutes, and then
no,
2 hours later you look at your watch.
You're still doing it. No, and you know what? To be honest with you, it's a game that we're all going to be very familiar with. I mean, football has a little bit of it in it. It's got many different situations that you are going to be familiar. It's going to bring you back to your childhood as well.
It reminds me of, like, from an American side, people that used to play like paper football.
There you go.
Or
that is exactly the example.
Those games where you would like flick a coin as close to the edge of the table as it's got that kind of
feel
to it. So it's very easy to like learn and pick up, but to master it is another story. So
but you know what? Fun. Come over, have some beers, flick some Bino.
There we go.
And we'll have you here.
All right. So that does it for us this week. Don't forget to give us a follow on Facebook, YouTube, Instagram, Blue Sky, TikTok. Throw us an email. Join our Discord. Join our chant app. I think that covers it all this week.
Yeah. You finally got the script there.
If you want to watch soccer here in the Hudson Valley, just give us a shout. We will get any game on that we physically can.
Absolutely.
We got some big events coming up. Obviously, Bino. We have some other big watch parties and some summer events planned for you as well. So as soon as we have some info on that we can share, we will. And thank you guys again for being an audience for us and letting Diego and I do what we do.
Thank you very much, guys.
And, that's it. We'll catch you either up in the tap room for a watch party, or we'll see you next week on the podcast. Thanks, guys. Cheers.
Have a blessed day, guys. Cheers.